What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Man Cave Podcast, brought to you by our good friends from High V in Eau Claire. Dan here with you as always. A little housekeeping note: don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Man Cave Podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, like Apple or Spotify, even on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can get all of our podcasts up there and the radio show. But if you're on Apple or Spotify, don't forget to follow and subscribe on there too, but also 5-star rating and a positive review because that helps the internet people find the podcast. It's a formula and such over there. So would appreciate that help here. But it's Monday when we're recording this, and I want to start something new on Monday's editions of the Man Cave Podcast, something I want to call a little weekend hangover. So just kind of recapping some of the events from the weekend, but also every Monday as a part of our weekend hangovers, I want to do some power rankings. So like for example, we've got the NHL, we've got the NBA, and we've got Major League Baseball in action. So power rankings, top 10, my personal power rankings for those teams. When we get into the football season, it'll be football and such. So, but I want to kind of start this on every Monday morning, a weekend hangover edition of the Man Cave Podcast, where we just go over a couple of topics and then get into my power rankings for some certain sports that are currently in action. So before we get to the power rankings, though, let's kind of go over a little bit of a menu of topics that I have for a weekend hangover. And I think we got to start off with Uconn women's basketball winning their 12th national title. There's no question when you think about women's college basketball, Uconn is the program. It was Tennessee back with Pat Summitt and such. It is Uconn with Gino Auriemma, and it has been for a while now. But that's not where I'm going with this. I think when you think of a university overall, a basketball university overall, factoring in women's and men's basketball, UConn is the university of basketball because you've got the men's team that have 6 national champions or championships back to back at this time. We're recording this on Monday, the Monday of the national championship. So we know UConn's not winning it this year. But you look at when you combine the men's and women's teams, the one, common denominator for the women's team has been Gino Auriemma. But the men's teams, Jim Calhoun won some championships. Kevin Ollie won it one year. Dan Hurley now with what he's doing. When you think of a university, a Division I university, and you think of them as basketball university, not just men's basketball university or not just women's basketball university, basketball overall, in my opinion, it's UConn. For women's, it's UConn. For men's, it's probably Duke. But overall, when you combine the both of them, it is clearly UConn. That is basketball university. And what UConn women's basketball is doing, what Gino Auriemma is doing is just, you talk about records that'll never be broke. I don't think anybody's going to break Gino Auriemma's record for national championships at UConn. I just think that one's going to be that's going to be untouchable, at least while I'm still around here, and hopefully that's for a long, 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 long time. But overall, when you just talk about the sport of basketball, the University of Basketball is at UConn, the University of Connecticut. What they've done over there, it's pretty damn impressive. So shout out. I mean, and then the way UConn won over the weekend too, just dominating against UCLA in the Final Four and dominating against Don Stanley, dominating against South Carolina. It was a very impressive run. So, also speaking of breaking records, Alex Ovechkin passing the great one, Wayne Gretzky, for goals. And I still feel like from a national sense, it went a little bit, not, I don't want to say under the radar because it did get attention. But I think the NHL world itself did a fantastic job with garnering attention and gaining attention to this. But I think from a national sports perspective, it could have gotten a little bit more attention. Like I feel like for comparison's sakes, when LeBron broke Kareem's scoring record, that got a little bit more attention. Now I don't want to necessarily get into a whole debate about, well, basketball is maybe more popular than the NHL and such, but this is why I feel like this should have gotten more attention. When you think about the greats or the best of all time, the GOATs, the greatest of all times in particular sports, you have the debate of Jordan and LeBron in basketball. You'll have a little bit of a debate in football because there's different positions. Is it Brady or is it a position player like a Jim Brown or Jerry Rice? You have a little bit of a debate there. Baseball, is it a pitcher? Is it Babe Ruth? Is it a hitter? You know, you have a little bit of a debate there. Hockey, there's not that much of a debate. It's Wayne Gretzky. Yes, you're still going to have the Gordie Howe picks, and rightfully so. But by far, the majority is going to pick Wayne Gretzky. So the fact that somebody broke a Wayne Gretzky held record, and a record for a lot of people, or a lot of people thought for the longest time would never be broken. The fact that it was the great one that had it, and somebody broke it, I feel like should have gotten a little bit more attention. I think the NHL did a really good job of getting that attention on themselves. And I'm not saying nobody didn't pay attention to it or it didn't get any attention, but I think the magnitude of this record and the magnitude of who held it, Wayne Gretzky, and it got broke, I think it should be talked about even more because I think this is going to go to the wayside now. I really do. I think this is going to be on the wayside. Like LeBron, if LeBron, if let's say Michael Jordan held the scoring record and LeBron broke it, that thing would have been puked all over the place and on us all over and probably would still be talked about. But this one I feel like is gonna get swept under the rug. Now you could say it's because it's the state of hockey, it's not as popular as basketball or the other ones. I understand that. I get that. But I think it's our job as sports people to make sure that this doesn't get unnoticed, and we need to recognize the greatness and the thing that blows my mind is that Ovechkin did this in the same amount of games that Gretzky did. You can't even say it's like he played a lot more games and it was just longevity and that's why he broke it. He did it in the same amount of games. Okay, I'm not the biggest hockey guy in the world, and anybody who knows me knows that. But I know something pretty historic when I see it when it comes to sports too, and this is pretty historic, and I think it needs to get a little bit more attention than what it is. Just in my opinion. Speaking of maybe not getting enough attention, see how it's just kind of uh transitioning into these topics? Segues, right? The Masters, it's Masters week right now. And I gotta tell you, I love the Masters. It's my favorite golf tournament. It's the only golf tournament that I get geeked up about and I get excited about when we get to it. I'm not there. I'm not there this week with the Masters. And I think it's purely because I know Tiger's not going to be in it. Now, I don't think Tiger's going to ever win it again. But the fact that that possibility of seeing Tiger at Augusta National is gone, that I'm not going to see it, it's a downer. And it's taken a hit and it's taken away the enthusiasm from me. I'm still gonna watch it, and maybe as we get closer and when I start listening to the theme song, maybe it'll start to hit me. I mean, for crying out loud, I just got a new putter. You'd think I'd be all in the golf mode and such, but it's just not there. And I'm really curious to see what the ratings are gonna be like for this year's Masters, especially knowing that Tiger's not gonna be there. Are we gonna have a big hit with the first 2 rounds? Is it gonna be a big hit overall? I think ratings are gonna be down. I think the only thing that could save it is if a guy like Rory McIlroy is in contention. If it's anybody else, I don't think there's gonna be a big ratings boost. I think the only guy that could save it in terms of some ratings is gonna be a guy like Rory McIlroy. So, but yeah, I hope it doesn't stink, but I think it's gonna stink. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do, but I don't have the enthusiasm that I normally would when it comes to the Masters at this point in time. I just don't. And I hate saying that because it is my favorite golf tournament out there. And I hope, even with no Tiger, I hope that I'm just glued to the TV set or my phone or tablet on Sunday and watching an epic finish at the Masters at Augusta National. All right, let's wrap it up. It's a quick hangover. Let's wrap it up with some power rankings. So again, these are just my picks. So it's going to depend on the sports season. Might only have one sport at times, might have a bunch of them, but I'm going to try to narrow it. I'm not going to do the like every team. So like in football, I'm not going to do the top 32. I'm just going to do top 10s. Okay. If we got some sports that have fewer teams in there or such, we may lower it. But in this case, we've got Major League Baseball going on. We got the NBA wrapping up its regular season and the NHL wrapping up its regular season. So, surprise, surprise, again, for people who know me, we got a couple of hockey topics in this podcast, which is probably not the norm. I'm trying to be more involved in the hockey, okay? I really am. But Let's do my top 10 power rankings as of April 7th for Major League Baseball, for the NBA, and for the NHL. Let's start off with the NHL. Number one, I've got the Capitals. All right, Alex Ovechkin. Alex, I've been an Alex Ovechkin fan for a while now. Ever since he won, or since the Capitals won the Stanley Cup, and his partying and his excitement level, and how he was so happy to win the Stanley Cup, and how he was just liquored up and celebrating. That drew me in. I've been an Alex Ovechkin fan since then. But I got to give it to the Capitals right now, not only just because of Ovechkin, but the way they're playing. I mean, wouldn't that be the topper? He breaks the goal record and they win the Stanley Cup this year. I mean, Alex Ovechkin might go on a year-long bender at that point. Capitals number one. Winnipeg Jets, I got at number two. The Dallas Stars, I've got at number three. I'm going to go with the Vegas Golden Knights at number four. Toronto Maple Leafs, I got coming in at number five. The Hurricanes at number six. I'm going to go Colorado Avalanche at number seven. And then the Kings at eight. Panthers at nine. And then wrapping it up with the Lightning at number 10. So those are my power rankings for the NHL. For the NBA, clear cut number one is the OKC Thunder. The Oklahoma City Thunder, it's not even close. They're number one. Number two is the Cavs. Cleveland Cavaliers. Number three, I've got Boston Celtics. I don't think that's really any surprise to a lot of people. Then, for that top three, then maybe it opens up a little bit more after this. Could be a little bit more of a debate and such. I'm going to go with the Knicks right now at number four, but I'm a little nervous on that one. Number five, I've got the Rockets. I know they're the second seed in the West, but I don't know if I'm ready to fully believe in them yet. Then I'm going to go Nuggets at six. I've got the Lakers at seven, Warriors at eight, Clippers at nine, and the T-Wolves at 10. So yes, there's only three Eastern Conference teams in the top 10. Just because the Pacers at four, no, I don't think they're a top 10 team in the NBA. Bucks, they should be, but they're not. Pistons, no. Odds are right now the champ's going to – it's really weird because the Eastern Conference is top two heavy with the Cavs and the Celtics, whereas the West is one heavy with the Thunder, but the West have more depth. We're into about a week and a half of the Major League Baseball season, about 10 games, 9 games, depending on your team and such. So these are kind of new. They're a little fresh, but without further ado, here are my top 10 power rankings for Major League Baseball teams right now. Number one, still the Dodgers. I know they dropped a couple games after starting off undefeated, 7-0, and they're 8-2 now. So, what's going on with the Dodgers here? They're still number one. But number two, I got the Giants. At this time, as we're recording, they've won 7 in a row. They're 8-1 right now. I think they're surprising some people. I thought they'd be good this year, but they're off to a fantastic start, and you got to give them credit. And then I got the Padres at number three. So 3 NL West teams coming in for the top 3 spots in my power rankings. Then after that, I got the Rangers. They're off to a fantastic start, 8-2 as well. Number 5, I'm going back to the National League and picking the Phillies. Number 6, I got the Yankees. I mean, after the opening round series against the Brewers, they probably would have been number 1 with the amount of home runs they were hitting. But right now, I got them at 6. The Red Sox at 7. I'm going to go with the Mets at 8. This is where it kind of gets a little tricky for me from 8 through 10. We'll go with the Mets at 8. And this pains me to say it, me being a Brewers fan. Cubs at 9. And then I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks at 10. Still incredibly early into this baseball season, but those are my first thoughts on the power rankings in these first 9-10 games. Again, depending on how many games your team's played, maybe even the Cubs are 12 games into this thing, so 9 to 12 games into it. Those are my first power rankings. So, but usually our weekend hangover episodes probably going to be a little bit on the shorter route because I just want to do some quick hitters on some topics that popped up over the weekend or, kind of are in the near future. So I kind of want to do that. And then, some power rankings here too. So they're going to be a little bit quicker episodes, a little bit of some quicker segments for our Monday morning weekend hangover Man Cave podcast episodes. So, but we got some other stuff planned for some Man Cave podcast segments. So make sure, again, you are following or subscribing to the Man Cave podcast, brought to you by Hy-Vee and Eau Claire, wherever you listen to your podcasts, and check us out on the YouTube channel too. All right. But don't forget, please, I am begging you, a 5-star rating on like Spotify and Apple and a positive review on Apple, because that helps others find the podcast. Until next time, I'm Dan Casper, and I'll talk to you on the next episode of the Man Cave Podcast.